425 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. You're listening to a podcast that's for you if you play Magic the Gathering. Whether you've been sitting at home playing by yourself for the last year, as we are discussing on today's episode, or maybe you're just getting into it.
Yeah, I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Megan.
And as Megan said, on today's episode, we are celebrating, marking 1 year of pandemic magic.
That's right. We're just being like, that happened.
It sure did.
Reflecting. That's the word. We're reflecting on a year of pandemic magic life.
Because it has been just about exactly 1 year.
Wild.
Of playing Magic in isolation.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to save all my questions for like when we'll actually start talking about it, because it brings up a lot of
Absolutely. There's
emotions.
So many memories and emotions. And we're going to go through all of this stuff, reminiscing in one way or another about everything that happened. And you get to come along on the journey with us.
Yeah.
Before we get into the show, though, we've got some people to thank for helping us support the show and making everything we do possible over on patreon.com/GLHF Magic.
Yes, that's right. Thank you, especially to Joe, Alexander, Timothy, and Michael, who became patrons since our last episode.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. If you're a new patron, if you're somebody who supported us for a long time, or even if you're thinking about it, you can make today the day that you make a difference in our lives and the lives of everybody who listens to the show, actually, because you make it possible for us to do this show.
If you are a patron, you are not only making what we do possible, but you're making other people listening to what we do possible. So if you want to change your life, consider becoming a patron today.
I mean, yeah, it's true.
It's a little bit of hyperbole, but not as much as it could be.
Yeah. So thank you so much, everybody. You get access to great benefits, cool prizes for being patrons, and you get your name read out loud from our very own Minnesotan mouths.
That's right.
On the show.
Thank you as well to Card Kingdom, cardkingdom.com/GLHF, a wonderful place to go for all of your magic needs.
Yeah, Time Spiral is releasing on Friday, the 19th. So if you want to order a box of that to play with your friends, like over Spell Table, using your webcams, or if you're just like, hey, I'm one of those horrible people that just crack packs for fun. Oh my gosh. You can buy it at Card Kingdom.
I guess it takes all types to make the world go round.
It sure does. And you can use our affiliate link, cardkingdom.com/GLHF. Ask them for a sticker, a token. They'll throw it in your order for free.
That's right. And they also make so much of our content possible by generously providing us with booster boxes or commander decks so that we can make those additional supplemental videos for you.
Speaking of supplemental videos, we've got a pair of commander decks from them that we're going to make a video with.
Ooh, yeah.
And we've got a Time Spiral box to open.
Ooh, and that video, I had to do some convincing, but we're going to do a very, very fun video for that.
Yeah, so stay tuned. If you're not subbed to our YouTube channel, I highly encourage you to do so, because this is where we put our extra videos every week. YouTube.com/goodluckhighfive. Hit subscribe and then hit the bell so you're notified, so you can actually see when our videos come up.
Yeah.
Because some people say,
what is subscribing besides saying that you don't wish to be notified about something?
It makes so much sense, YouTube.
Yes. Every time I subscribe to an email list, I'm like, wow, I hope I never get notified when they send an email.
It's just a travesty. So please do both of those things. I'm sorry that you have to, but you do have to.
Look, it's not us. It's YouTube. Someday they're going to realize that people have started saying both of them. Yeah. And then they're going to add like a third step.
Thing.
So do it now. Well, it's only 2.
So subscribe, notifications, and then you're going to have to tickle a pigeon.
Yeah.
So before you have to do that.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to wash your hands like 3 times.
A lot. Pigeons are gross.
Oh man, I saw a pink pigeon the other day.
What? Oh, do you want to hear a pigeon story really quick?
Absolutely.
Okay. I was in Paris with my family a very long time ago, right? And this is like one of the very first like big trips we'd ever taken as a family. Yeah. And I think it was early in college for me. Okay. So we're there over the holidays.
Great.
And we go to the Eiffel Tower and it's like windy and cold. And we just climb up the sets of stairs that you can go up. We don't go to the very, very top or anything.
Okay.
I think it was maybe too windy.
Okay.
But the coolest thing that I saw at the Eiffel Tower was there's like this long lawn, on one side of it where people are just hanging out.
Being French.
And there's like all of these pigeons around because, right, people are like picnicking and stuff. And so people will feed them. And the pigeons are not afraid of people at all. And this like literally this kid's got to be like 5 tops, goes running by with a pigeon in his hand. He was like grabbing it. He was like grabbing its body, and its wings were like half raised, like the pigeon had not been afraid enough of this kid, and the kid had grabbed it, and the pigeon now is like, ah! It was too late for it to get away. And you see the kid run up to his parents and be like, and the parents turn around and immediately are like, ah! Drop that
bird down.
And he drops it, and obviously the pigeon flies away.
I mean, as a child, is there anything more attractive than picking up a bird?
Can you imagine? It would be like the highlight of your young life if you caught a pigeon.
Absolutely. I remember birds would fly into my window at my childhood home, and they'd be like stunned on the ground, and I picked one up, and my parents like, put it down! Don't touch the bird disease! Bird disease!
Yeah.
But I was all about touching those birds.
It was so funny to me. Mostly it was the pigeon's like half-raised wings. Like, obviously, it had just been messing. It was like, whatever, it doesn't matter. These people are here to feed me. I don't need to be afraid of them. And then this kid had just straight up grabbed this pigeon. And it was very surprised.
If you have any pigeon stories, please tweet at us at GLHF Magic with the hashtag PigeonGate. Well, everyone, it's time to remember 1 year of pandemic magic.
Yes. You know, Maria, I think that the first thing that has come to people's minds as we hit this year is like, do you remember about a year ago when everyone was like, theaters were like, oh, we're closing for the weekend.
We're closing for the weekend. Just
and then they were like, oh, we're closing for the rest of March.
Yep.
I remember when the Guthrie, which is a very big theater here in town, like not only closed for the rest of the year, but announced like a very reduced season for 2021.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, that's melodramatic.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or like,
totally.
Why do you need to do that? And it's like, here we are. And they can't even do the reduced season that they had planned.
No.
For 2021.
It's unbelievable. Like, what did we think? You know, like,
I don't know what we thought.
It'll be here, but then it'll just like disappear.
Go away? I guess. Yes, like we thought that it would go away.
Wow. Yeah. And you know what? Spoiler alert. It sure didn't.
Sure did not. If anything, it was only here more.
I remember the first iterations of being in a lockdown, and here in Minnesota, it was especially like a thing. I'm not sure if other states did this right off the bat, but it was like, you can't go out, kind of like it was
stay-at-home orders.
Stay-at-home orders here in Minnesota. And I had a lot of fun at the beginning of that situation.
Wow.
Because it was like a new and novel thing that everybody was in together. Like, we're all doing this together. We're all locked inside our homes. It's new. It's different.
Yeah.
We're connecting on Zoom for the first time.
Wow.
Which is totally new experience.
Yeah. Remember when Zoom was a new thing?
Yep. Zoom was a new thing.
Now Zoom is the oldest thing that exists.
Yes. Now everyone hates it. But back then we're like, oh, we're doing, quarantine parties. So we would like craft over Zoom together. We play games over Zoom together, which we still do.
Yeah.
But back then it was like very new and novel. So I have very happy memories of sitting there. I had bought a light that projects like a galaxy onto your ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm going to be trapped in my office all the time. I'm going to make it like ambient and nice. And I turned on my galaxy light. I would like drink my Welsh whiskey and play like Magic or something.
Yeah.
And like I have those times I have extremely happy memories of, which is so bizarre.
It is very bizarre.
Because by now, the charm has disappeared entirely.
Yes. It is evaporated. And then it's...
Yeah.
I don't know. It's also been like, charred.
Yeah, charred. It's gone gangrene.
It is very, very gone for sure. About this time last year is when Magic was like, we are canceling all events for the foreseeable future.
And that is one of the not happy memories.
Ooh, yeah, because we were like, that's a lot of our income.
That's our jobs.
That is our jobs.
And they're like, yeah, sorry, we can't do this. And
they're like, obviously, of course they can't. You can't be mad at them for being like, hey, we're canceling this stuff. Like, people can't get together. How are you supposed to get international people here? Like, none of that's happening.
None of that's happening. And I remember talking on the podcast back then about this. Like, it was very emotional for us. Like, I remember crying when I learned all these events were canceled because I'm like, what are we going to do for money?
Yeah.
And because the podcast and stuff is part of our income, of course, but it's, kind of a smaller chunk compared to everything else. And today I was reminded in my Facebook memories that today is the day when I asked people online, like I tweeted this out. I'm like, hey, do you want to buy a painting from me? And like I was just like, I don't know what to do. I guess I'll charge people some money for a painting. And to your listeners' credit, you came through. Yeah. A lot of people bought them for me. Thank you.
And a lot of people became patrons of the show about this time last year, which was really wonderful.
Yeah.
It was, wow. Yeah, that part I remember. I don't know that I cried. I was just like shell shocked.
Yeah.
I just was there.
Yeah, shell shocked. Oh. Like, I remember expecting it, like, oh, this is probably going to happen. But then when it actually did happen.
Yeah, you're like,
oh, this is real.
Okay.
And to Wizards of the Coast credit, they created some shows to help people, like, kind of stay in work.
Yeah. I worked on the Magic Minute for a while.
Yep, the Magic Minute. That was hosted by Becca.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
Yeah, and I was on the, what do we call it? Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, like the Friday debate show.
I can't remember the name of it.
Which could have been the name.
Why can't I remember the name of it a year later?
Hot Take Friday.
Hot Take Friday. I wish that what it was actually
had been called Hot Take Friday.
And we just talked about Standard and like what new decks were happening that week and stuff.
Yeah.
With Corey and Cedric. It was a great time. And Riley, like, I thought that show was really cool.
Yeah.
But it didn't gain the traction I think that it probably needed to stay a show that they paid for.
Oh man. I think, obviously there are lots of problems that people have with Wizards of the Coast, depending on how they handle different things sometimes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I will say that, like, them creating those sets of shows.
They did not have to do that.
No.
By any stretch of the imagination.
No. And so that was, like, definitely something that stuck with me in terms of being like, okay.
Yeah. Like,
I feel supported in this job, even though I'm only a contractor. Yeah. Which is very nice.
Yeah, that was great. Marshall had his limited show that he did every week. I miss those shows, honestly. Yeah. That was great. So, maybe one day they'll come back.
Yeah. Do you know what I was also thinking of yesterday? So I was like making the list of stuff that happened.
Yeah.
And the Ikoria pre-release was the first one that was a pandemic pre-release where we ordered them from Lodestone, our local game store.
You're right.
And we built them online and played them against each other and Nicholas, our board game review guy.
That's right.
And the thing is that I was like, was Theros Beyond Death before or after that? And the answer is it was before. And so I know that we went to the in-store pre-release. I have literally no memory of it.
We definitely did.
Like, I know that it happened. I remember, like, I know for certain that I went. I cannot remember the event at all.
This was a set with Kira Best of Sea God in it, right?
Yes.
Because that was one of my rares, and Dream Trawler was my other rare.
Wow. Wait, Dream Trawler's not from that set.
What am I remembering?
I don't know.
Well, it's some pre-release.
Is Dream Trawler from? No, it's not. What is Dream Trawler even from?
I had Dream Trawler, everybody, which, as you may know, is completely busted.
It is.
And
oh my gosh, it is from Theros Beyond Death.
Yeah.
I feel crazy.
So my pre-release pool had Dream Trawler and Kira Best of Sea God. And if you don't know, that equals a very good pre-release pool.
That is.
And you were not at the pre-release I was at because I went to...
oh, that's right. We went to different ones.
Yep. We had to go to different ones. And I went to not Lodestone.
Yes.
For my event.
Whereas like I said, it's so wild. I could not tell you what my rares were. I could not tell you what I built.
Yeah.
I could not tell you what my record was at any point during the day.
Wow. Pandemic erasure.
No memory of it.
The memory's gone.
At all.
Yeah, I mean, I have a very small memory of it.
Wow.
But yeah, that's what it was.
Maybe if I had Cure Best to See God, I would remember.
I mean,
I bet my pool was not exciting because I would remember that.
Yeah. I played at Tower Games in Minneapolis.
Wild.
Also a good store.
I just can't remember it at all. Anyways, and I do feel like that's like pandemic
mind. Yeah. It's real.
My memory got pandemic erased. So we had the Ikoria pre-release at home.
Yep.
Which was one where I was like, it was fun, but I was bummed to be at home. Can you imagine how fun Ikoria would have been?
Oh, it would have been so great.
With all of like the cool cards.
I know. I love
all of the Godzilla cards.
And, doing our cool mutate shenanigans.
Oh, Maria, we have never physically mutated a card.
That is so weird to
Isn't
think
that
about.
Wild?
That's so weird.
We've never
done it.
Physically mutated a card.
I've mutated in this pandemic, but I haven't mutated a card.
Also. No. Isn't like that's a huge mechanic.
Well, I know how to do it.
Like a very cool mechanic.
Yeah.
But it is something that we've never done in paper.
Yeah.
Which is just completely wild.
My memory of this Ikoria pre-release is when we had the decks and paper, and then we built them and put them on Arena.
Yeah.
And played each other, which you can watch the videos on our YouTube channel, by the way, which are pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I was playing in our second office versus Nicholas.
Oh yeah.
We moved offices twice during this pandemic.
We did move offices twice. The second one flooded.
Yes.
The one in the middle.
The one in the middle.
The one that we're not in now.
And burned down.
The first one that we moved into flooded and burned down. Fun times.
So we were in it for
really
not a long
good
time.
No,
not
we
a
were
long
not.
time. But one of those times I was playing Nicholas.
Luckily, we had enough stuff in there to get ruined. I didn't mean luckily.
Unluckily.
In
fact, is what you
meant. Even though we weren't in there for very long, there still was a lot of stuff that could get very wet and then no longer function. Well,
I mean, when you think back about it, can you believe that we moved offices twice in this pandemic?
No. Next question.
I mean, it's just unreal to think about.
Yeah. Oh, I was like scrolling through photos because one thing that I have done during this pandemic is get a lot of plants.
Oh, plants. Yeah.
Very into plants now. And
I almost thought you said pants, and I was like, I have
that too.
No more pants.
I feel like I've bought cool pants, but I haven't had enough times to wear them. Wait, that brings me to another thought, but we have to get there in a minute.
Okay.
One at a time. I was scrolling back to look at my plants from a year ago just to be kind of like, hey, I wonder like how are they doing?
Oh,
and I want to be like
how they've grown.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I was scrolling back and I looked at photos from that second office.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
that happened.
It happened. It happened for the hottest second of all time. The hottest
second. Yeah.
And it was so cool. Like this office is amazing.
Yeah.
It does have some benefits that one did not. But that one was also really gorgeous.
It was really pretty.
It was really pretty.
Do y'all remember that office? Like,
you never saw it.
I mean,
maybe in some photos.
Maybe
in a couple of photos when we were like, this is where we're moving.
We never recorded a show out of there.
Literally never.
Yeah, that was how fast we were excited to get a new place during the pandemic. Like, it was just like great that we were able to move. And then, of course, the flood happened and the burning and we had to move again. But yeah, like moving 2 different times. Moving sucks, everybody. You know that.
Yes.
Moving during a pandemic, if you've done it, you understand. That suckage is increased by at least 70%.
It's very sucky.
And then moving out of a completely flooded, burnt out office adds another 40% of suckiness. I know I'm over 100 at this point.
And like we also had to sweep all the water out. Do you remember when we swept all the water out?
We had to sweep the water out of our office.
We swept the water out and it swept into the freight elevator, which was already broken. And so like it had been broken in the fire/other flooding.
Yeah.
And it like we couldn't get so much of our stuff out.
No. Because it needs to go down an elevator.
Go down this freight elevator anymore. Wow.
Yeah. And so like I just recall this period of time being so like emotionally exhausted and also physically from moving from a gross, flooded out, disgusting office as quickly as possible, which was molding.
It was molding.
Finding a new space, moving everything into this new space. Like that is a lot of things to happen.
Yes.
And happening during the pandemic, which gives it kind of a weird dreamlike quality of its occurrence.
Wow.
Because nothing else was going on.
No.
So anyway, that's like tangentially magic related, but 100% related to our lives. So
yeah. Ooh. And then there were all those months that we were recording from home.
Yes. And recording, in isolation. Absolutely.
Do you know what? I hate recording from home.
It's not.
I do not like it.
It's not as good. I know a lot of podcasts do it like as that's their.
Yeah.
That's how they do it. Like limited resources. Yeah. Marshall and LSV don't live in the same city and they record over Skype. And I think a lot of people do this.
Power to them. But it is just not my thing. Like I just can't sit there like looking at my computer screen the whole time.
Yeah. I think there's. Like being in person, I think especially for a show like ours, being able to interact in a human meet space is like
very key
to our rapport, if you will.
Yep
That was rough.
And
then you're like, I'm gonna say so. Oh no, you're talking. Zoom. But
moving on to happier things. The pandemic was the instance of Maria's Mythic Month.
Maria's Mythic Month. Do y'all remember this? I was going to do this last month too, but then I didn't because there was a lot of sealed to be played.
I was going to say, there was a lot of sealed.
But yeah, I was at home and one of my Starlight was on the ceiling, and I was like, I got this Rakdos Knights deck.
Yeah.
Feet Embercleave, and I was like, I think this is the moment that I can play this to Mythic.
It might have been Mardu. I think it had like youthful names.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. It was Mardu. Yep. And then I was just like in best of 1 queues, and I remember texting Meghan. I'm like, I think I can do this tonight. I think I can make Mythic.
And just to be clear, it was like 11 p.m. when Maria texted me that.
I was like, I think this is the moment. This deck is really good at this specific pinpoint in history.
It wasn't like 7 p.m. and Maria was like hopping on to try and go Mythic. It was like 11 p.m. and Maria was like, I think I'm going to get there.
I think I can do it. And like I had found this deck, I think from Riley, who had been playing it. And I'm like, okay, let's go. And I was at I'm the last stage of Platinum. I don't even think I was Diamond. And I made the run from Diamond whatever to Mythic in like 4 hours.
Whew.
I lost, I think, 2 games.
Wow.
And
that's just like...
It was so intense, everybody. So intense. Because if you want to make Mythic any month, like you can probably do it if you have enough time.
Yeah.
But that's a month. And I did it in like 4 hours. Because I did not stop.
Yep.
I kept going and
sometimes it's having the right deck in that moment.
Yes, it was the right deck for the exact. I was like, I have to do it tonight because tomorrow people are going to know about this deck and it'll be too late. It'll be too late. And the next day, I woke up with an extreme arms pain.
It's like an extreme magic hangover.
Yep, magic hangover from holding my hand like this and clicking my mouse. But yeah, I did it. My Mythic month.
That was pretty great.
It was great.
That was very cool.
And once you end up in Mythic, like then all bets are off. People are playing really weird stuff because they don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. I think yeah, that's wild. I think we were helped also through the pandemic, like the experience of it, by there were some like excellent drafts that came along.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because we had Zendikar Rising.
Great.
Oh,
we loved it.
Like Zendikar Rising. Excellent draft.
Yeah, great time.
Good. Anytime that comes up as one of the drafts that you can do, I'll still hop in and go back and do it because
Absolutely.
It is so much fun. And then Amonkhet Remastered.
Oh yeah,
which was just not a draft for long enough.
We love that too.
I would do it more.
Yeah,
it was so good. That draft was just excellent.
Yeah, really, really fun.
Yeah. So I think those definitely helped me a lot.
Oh, for sure. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Even access to having Arena available during this pandemic, like,
thank goodness,
has been such a lifesaver. I mean, when you can't go out, you can't see your friends, you can't do what you normally would do in a day, to have some of that time occupied by something that like brings you joy is like invaluable. I feel sorry for people who don't play Magic during a pandemic.
You heard it. But
like, yeah. I mean, for real. And these formats being good is so cool.
Yeah.
These draft formats, like we've mentioned on the show before, they've been knocking them out of the park the past few sets. I mean, if you want to compare it to the few that have come before it, even you can see the difference.
Like they're bringing back, we mentioned on the upkeep today that War of the Spark draft is coming back to Premiere.
Yep.
And like, I'll probably do it once just for nostalgia's sake. But like, I don't want to spend my time drafting War of the Spark. It was fine, but why would I do that when I can draft like Call Time?
Yeah. I mean, how quickly things have improved even. Yeah. Like, so if you're a newer player, just know that we are living in a golden age of draft right now.
We really are.
It's so true.
It's pretty cool. Although Kaladesh remastered. Kaladesh.
Yeah.
It did not
quite as good as Amonkhet for me.
Get there.
But Megan, when you're like thinking back on like the pandemic and Magic and everything, what to you is like something that, 5 years from now, you will sit there and think, this is the memory I have of pandemic Magic?
I think for me, it's that during this pandemic, I eventually got into the routine of every morning, I get up, I FaceTime my friend Pam. Well, I make coffee and like make breakfast, and then I sit down and I play Magic for an hour.
Yeah. So you started a new routine.
Yeah, which is like something that I've never done. Like I played a lot of Magic, obviously, but I didn't play every single day.
Yeah.
It wasn't, and it was more like, oh, do you know what? I have like a little bit of extra time right now.
I'll play Magic.
I'll play some Magic. But it's just been such a nice thing to be able to wake up and be like, do you know what? I'm going to go play Magic.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It's a great way to start the day.
Exactly. And like, especially when you're in this place where nothing is changing.
It like activates your brain, gets it moving in a way when you're just inside your house, that can sometimes be a little bit challenging.
It's like kind of fun.
Yep.
I mean, it is fun.
Magic, kind of fun. You heard it here first. Good luck, high five.
You heard
Copyright
it here, everybody.
2021.
Oh, kind of fun. No regrets. I said what I said.
You know, something that we haven't touched on too is the pandemic moving all of these tournaments, these big tournaments, online only.
Yes. I mean, I think when a lot of people think of the pandemic's impact on Magic, that's what it is.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this brings up so many questions, but
yeah.
So we've got big tournaments like the championship tournaments happening, and they're done all online.
Yeah.
Completely new.
Yeah. Not only do we have like the tournaments changing, but like it also we ended up with the 2020 partial season.
Yes.
As a result.
Yeah.
Because they were just like, what do we do with this year that like.
This was supposed to be this big kickoff of the MPL and Rivals.
Oh, it really was.
And now
it was just kind of like them being like, oh no.
What do we do? Yeah. And so big tournaments online, smaller tournaments like the SCG circuit, all now happening online, which I think gives more people access to it if they want to play it. They don't have to go to a different city, fly out there, pay for a plane, a hotel, etc.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, same for us who work in coverage. We're not flying to somewhere to do a big show, just sitting at home.
I think shout out to a lot of the like Star City Games and Channel Fireball.
MTG Melee.
And Melee is a big one that have made it possible, that adapted really quicker than is reasonable to expect.
I agree.
Right? If you think about the kinds of changes that these places went through in such a short frame of time to be like, we're going to make it possible for people to play competitive Magic online.
Yeah.
And they're not just going to have to do it through the arena qualifier every month.
Right.
Or like grinding the ladder. We're going to make it so that they have all of these other avenues, kind of like they did with Paper Magic.
Right.
That's a huge pivot to make.
It absolutely is.
But they just did it with like as much kind of like, grace as they could.
Yeah.
Like grace and speed. Just like Apollo Anton Ono. What a ref! Like, where did that reference come from?
I haven't thought about Apollo Ono for quite a while. Despite having one of my favorite names in the history of sports.
Like, really excellent.
Number one name.
Do you know why I was thinking about it?
Why?
Because yesterday I bought myself a pair of rollerblades. I'm very excited.
I mean, there you go. You're going to be the new Apollo.
Yeah, except not on ice. Just on the road.
On ground.
I don't know. Anyways.
Blast from the past.
It really was.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people will ask questions like, like we don't know the answer to these. What's going to happen in the future?
Who knows?
Are we going to continue doing tournaments online? Are we going to do some weird kind of hybrid?
Who knows?
I would kind of imagine it ends up being some kind of hybrid.
Yes, because I will say, there's like two aspects to this. One, I do feel bad for all the people who are like, I qualified for my first big event, and then it got moved online.
Yeah.
I sympathize so much with like having that goal for such a long time.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then finally achieving it and having some of like what feels like the prestige or part of the experience kind of eroded away.
Because let's get real. Playing online is great for creature comforts for a lot of reasons.
Yes.
But it will never replace the experience of playing in person.
Exactly. Of like flying to a cool city that you've never been to or flying to Cleveland, whatever. Let's be real, y'all. Sometimes that's where it is. And getting to hang out with all of these people and having a great time. But there is also part of me that is also like, hey, I'm really sorry that happened. I need you to have some perspective about the fact that we are now 1 year into a global pandemic.
Yeah.
That has literally completely changed the shape of the world.
I think we've all made some kind of weird sacrifice because of this, right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes not weird, but just a sacrifice.
Just a normal one. Just a regular. Yeah. Just a regular sacrifice.
And this is like we've all been touched in different ways. And I mean, I think that this pandemic, has done so many terrible things, obviously, but will have positive outcomes.
Yes. And that's what I was saying. Like, so the other fork of it for me, or like the other prong, is like, I will be honest, I don't want to go back to traveling as much as we did.
I mean, maybe we won't have to.
I hope not, because
it was a lot.
A lot. It was exhausting.
Yeah.
When I work from home from these tournaments, I get to sit in front of my window.
Yeah.
I see the outside.
You're not locked in a convention center.
I'm not locked in a convention center in the literal dark.
In the cold.
It's a literal
as well.
It's cold and dark the whole time.
Yes, accurate.
And then I have to go to a hotel room.
Yep.
Like, I get to be home. I get to see my cat. I get to cook my own food. I get to see, my friends or my partner.
Yep.
Like, that evening, it is a huge difference in quality of life for me. And I don't, like, sometimes I get a little afraid thinking of it. I'm like, do I think I could go back to a life where I was traveling once a month? I honestly don't think that I can.
Sometimes we were traveling 3 times a month.
Yes. Yeah, once a month at like the low end.
What's the low end? And I think for me, it's huge too, because I would get sick a lot.
Yeah.
From traveling. I guess my immune system is kind of really bad, but who knows?
From being in convention centers and planes. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, like, I had decided right before the pandemic ended that I would not do 3 events back to back to back again, because I physically, I was just sick at the end of it. And then I would take maybe a week to get better. And so right at the end of the pandemic, I was like, I can't do 3 in a row anymore. Like, I can do 2 and that's okay, but I cannot do 3. And, so I don't know what will happen. I assume whenever we come back to in-person stuff, it's going to be a very slow turnover. And, I have no clue. Like, we have international players. Like, what is that going to mean?
Yeah. What does it mean for, right now, what does, international travel look like right now?
So, are we going to have this kind of weird hybrid system? Are we going to have some players in a different part of a building? Or I don't know. But I think that the takeaway could be that we do see some tournaments moved fully online. Yeah. Because now not only can players do this pretty well, like we figured it out, but also production wise, that we feel a lot more comfortable producing a remote tournament than we did.
All I'm saying is I actually like the city of Phoenix. I have been to the Desert Botanical Garden, but what if instead of flying a bunch of people to Phoenix, you just had them stay at home? And I'll go to Phoenix on a vacation when I want to go to Phoenix. I actually also had the best, like, vegan blizzard of my life. It was.
Do you mean
so
like a Dairy
good.
Queen blizzard?
It wasn't from a Dairy Queen, obviously. It was from this it was this restaurant. If you live in Phoenix, remind me of the name of this place. I'm such a fan. It was like a vegan restaurant, and next door to it was a vegan ice cream shop. And they made like this vegan blizzard.
Was it made out of like coconut?
I don't even know what it was. But Maria, it was so good.
Great.
It was so good. The food at the restaurant was great, and then I went and had a vegan blizzard, and it was also
I want to
amazing.
go back there because of Meow Wolf. I want to go Meow Wolf.
Oh, that's true. But wait, that's in New Mexico.
Oh, well, hop, skip, and a jump.
But anyways, my point being, like, there are some of those where it's just like, don't make me go and work in a random American city for a week. Let me work from my home.
Yeah. And so, I mean, like, I think that will happen. I mean, who knows? But that's my current feeling, because I think everybody who goes on planes for a living can attest that it's
exhausting.
It is a really tough
exhausting
life.
Here's my vote right now.
Okay.
So, like, obviously you have to have some in person for like the production aspect. You want to make something that's big, like a huge, big production.
Yeah.
So I have like a couple that are just like absolute bangers.
Blow it out.
Exactly. Like Hawaii World Championship level of event.
Great.
And then take like the budget that you use for funnel your budget into those, and then make a couple of them at home where you don't have to use that money.
Yeah, I think that's great.
And then everyone that's in person can be like that level of stellar.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
I'm just saying.
Some people ask, have you learned anything from doing events remotely? Casting wise, compared to doing them in person. And I will say that doing a show remotely is really tough for the same reasons we talked about doing a podcast remotely is really tough. You might talk over each other. There's latency issues. You are not in the same room, so you can't get a read on who wants to talk when.
Yeah.
But something that I think will carry over into physical events once those happen again is the courtesy we've had to develop for people to be able to take their moment to say things and to know when you want somebody else to talk. It's like little like tricks of the trade, which I think this is really on Cedric for driving this point home of being like, let's talk about this deck X, Y, and Z. And how about this card, Maria? And like, oh, this is just a great Maria. And then
Yeah.
I'm going to say the next words. And I think that's such a small thing, but I think it's something that's going to exist post-pandemic, like being able to better navigate the flow of a multi-person segment. Because sometimes at those news desk segments, we have like 6 people up there.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, so like I think we will all be better at our jobs because of the extra 10 hurdles that we had to pile on top of them to be able to do it remotely.
Yeah, when you've had to jump 10 hurdles at once, you can go back to jumping 1 hurdle like a pro.
That's horse facts.
And I was thinking of just normal running. Like when horses jump them, they're called fences.
Oh.
A horse can jump them.
So a horse doesn't go do the hurdles?
They could. There's nothing stopping them, I guess.
I don't know. I've only ridden a horse one time.
Oh, man. It's great. I was a horse girl.
It used its back and it went boonk, and it popped me into the air. Is there a word for that?
When they buck?
Yeah. And it hurt really bad.
Yeah. I got thrown from a horse.
Oh, yes.
And broke my shoulder.
Yeah.
Once upon a time.
Yeah. Horse facts.
Fun stuff. Horse facts.
Horse gate. Not as fun as pigeon gate.
No, not as.
A kid can't carry a horse in his hand through a crowd.
No. Oh, man. Like, that's just an image I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. When I think of the Eiffel Tower, that's literally the first thing I think of.
A pigeon.
Is a kid carrying a pigeon.
Oh.
So, Maria, what is one thing that for you was like marks like a decided difference between pre-pandemic and then during the pandemic? Magic life.
Well, I bought a lot of secret layers, Meghan.
Why do you what do you think made it happen?
Because you want to feel something. You know what I mean?
I get you.
I think a lot of people have actually written about this phenomenon of people shopping during the pandemic because they were like, I want something to feel like normal life. I want something to like feel like I used to, whatever, just to recreate some semblance of normalcy. Now, I was not a real big secret lair buyer before the pandemic.
Yeah.
But at some point I was like, you know what? We're doing it. I really can't explain myself because I'm not somebody who really collects, foils or anything other than for decks I'm using. But anyway, I brought one here today to just be emblematic of a time when I bought 3 of them in a single sitting. What was I doing? I don't know. But I did it, probably because I just wanted a little pick-me-up. So I brought in my Happy Little Gathering foil edition.
Yeah. I don't even know which one that one is.
It's
I can't
the Bob
even name
Ross
it.
one.
Oh, of course.
So I wanted to show it off for you all because it came in the mail just the other day.
Really great.
And I just wanted to show you. So here's a little bonus, Evolving Wilds.
Oh,
that came with it.
Nice.
These ones had their little bonus.
Yeah.
And then their packaging is just very strange. But
it also has a Bob Ross art.
Oh, that's Bob Ross too?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I forgot he did an Evolving Wilds. But yeah.
I mean,
he did it. They put it on. Bob Ross is like, today we're painting an Evolving Wilds.
Everyone, today we're painting an Evolving Wilds. And it even has a Bob Ross quote. We don't make mistakes, just happy little accidents.
Oh, I didn't know he was on the flavor text.
Yeah.
That's great.
Cute.
Yeah, so here's a planes. We got a couple planes. I hope you can see them at home. This is another one.
Wow, this is really cool.
Here we've got Island, which is like a tropical little island with a palm tree.
I want to know what the negotiation with his estate was like for
No
doing
clue.
this.
No clue. I drove past a Bob Ross museum.
Was it just can you imagine being like the estate manager and one day Wizards of the Coast emails you and they're like, hey, listen.
This is my favorite, this swamp. Both of his swamps I really like.
I really like this.
Because they're very colorful. I can't ever remember him painting a swamp on the show, but maybe he didn't paint them on the show, or maybe
they're just,
I'm not sure.
paintings.
But yeah, this swamp is my personal favorite of all of the ones here.
Wow,
the mountains,
this one's
of
really
course, are excellent because classic Bob Ross wants to paint some mountains. And, you know, when it comes to forests, you got to have your happy little trees. So there's 2 forests in here, too.
Oh, great. These are so cool.
Yeah.
I really like this mountain one.
What am I going to do with them? That's the real question for myself.
Know, Maria. What are you going to do with them?
I don't know. I really like them. I also bought the heavy metal one, which
Ooh, the heavy metal one's
the cards
great
look incredible. But what am I going to do with it?
I don't know. Frame it. Buy a little, you know.
I need more wall space in my house. I need to build several more walls for more art.
Excuse me, contractor. I just need you to put
some
a wall
walls up here. So yeah, this is like, I think I wanted to bring this in because this is just emblematic of the pandemic for me. Like, why did I do this? I don't really know. Am I regretful about it? Not really, but also why? Remains to be seen.
I have had the problem where I do think that my clothes purchasing went up during the pandemic because I used to not be a person who really bought many clothes.
Yeah.
And I mostly bought them from the Salvation Army Target basement.
Yeah.
Which is this amazing
It's great.
basement. There's a Salvation Army. They are a terrible organization, but there's one that has a basement that's Target overstock here in Minneapolis because Target Corp is like from here.
You gotta go if you're from Minneapolis.
And you go into the basement and it's just Target overstock.
In a basement.
Exactly. So it's like all the stuff that didn't sell from like just the most recent season.
Yeah.
Or they have like samples from when they were like trying out clothes.
Yep.
And so you can try on like the sample sizes and stuff from things.
It's great.
Anyways, point is most of my clothes were from stuff like that. And I've actually bought real clothes during the pandemic.
Which is weird because
I know there's nowhere to wear them. And then so the other day I was trying to like clean out my dresser in my closet.
Yeah.
Being like, there is just stuff that I know that is in there that needs to be gotten rid of. But it's a bad time to get rid of clothes because you cannot look at something and evaluate it by like, I haven't worn this recently. Of course you haven't worn it recently.
Of course you've worn nothing.
Where have you gone?
Yeah.
I remember
so true.
The first time I tried to wear jeans.
You mean hard pants?
Yes. And I literally lasted 15 minutes.
I know. I just can't. It's really tough trying to get me in hard pants.
Yes. I put them on. I did my morning routine as I was talking about, and I was sitting playing Magic in my living room, and I was in the middle of the match, and I was like, I can't wear these anymore.
Well, were you putting them on for like something else, or were you just like, no, I'm getting dressed for the day?
I was like, I'm getting dressed for the day. I
no,
looked at those
pants had no chance.
No, I looked at them and I was like, oh yeah, do you know what? I can wear a real outfit today.
No,
absolutely not.
It's just a joke.
It was obscene. They were so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And they were just normal jeans.
They're just normal jeans. And now we're like, I don't know what will happen. I mean, people will gradually go back to hard pants, I think.
Yes.
But it's going to be a transition.
It really is. It really is.
As things start to get better around the world. Yeah. It's kind of a weird paradox because you're not wearing many clothes because you're not going out. But clothes prices are the cheapest they've ever been. So you're like, oh, hey, what the heck?
Yeah.
Anyway, so
yeah. And also I feel like it's that like I'm at home, so like an email will come through that it's like 20% off of our clearance items. Sure. And it used to be like I didn't have the time to go and look through it, but now I'm like 20% off clearance. Like, yeah, I'm gonna buy something. I'm just sitting here.
They've got us. They've got us.
They really do.
Also, look at my nails. I did an at-home manicure.
They look great.
For the first time ever in my life.
They're very cute.
Yeah, from Manny Me, if you're looking for something. Pandemic,
man. Yeah, it's been so strange, right? And I don't think, like, Strixhaven, right, we probably won't be ready yet to have, real pre-releases out there.
Probably not.
But, like, sometime this fall, you could be back at your LGS.
How do you think you're going to feel like going out those first few times?
Terrified.
It's going to be...
I'm going to be so scared.
It's going to be weird and tough because we haven't had to, speaking even as an extrovert, be in places with lots of human beings for a long period of time.
I haven't had to make small talk in forever.
Yep, small talk.
I probably don't have that skill anymore.
That's out the window.
Exactly. Smiling at people if I don't actually have a reason to smile.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be like, this is what my face is.
I hope that we don't shake hands again.
Ooh, I could go back to never shaking hands.
What I learned over the pandemic about handshaking is that it's actually pretty gross.
Disgusting.
And like, as somebody who gets sick a lot, I would really prefer we don't need to do this. This is not something that needs to occur, right?
Do you all remember the barbaric, disgusting days of handshaking?
Like, hi, we can do a wave. That would be really cool when you meet somebody. Or just like, yes, a little nod. Yeah. I acknowledge you.
Oh, I would love a little nod.
Just a little nod.
That's like a great, like.
So that is something like I really am going to actively try to make it a thing post-pandemic.
Yes, to just be like, hello.
Will you be on my team with this, listeners?
Honestly, do you know what, Maria? When someone tries to shake my hand, I'll be like, I'm so sorry. I don't actually shake hands because of germs.
Like, I've learned about germs a lot.
We've all learned a lot about germs.
What's up?
Just not do it.
Let's like fist bump if you gotta.
Just like, hello.
Hi. Yeah.
Wild.
Good luck. Hi. Hello.
Do you know what? Wow. Our podcast has been encouraging a gross.
Well, high five is way shorter than a handshake.
You're right. It is. There's like less contact. There's less surface area covered.
Yeah. Like interviewing for a new job. Like the boss is like, welcome to the company. And I'm like, boom, put it up top. I don't do that anymore, bruh.
What's up? Oh, man.
Yeah, that's my change. I'm hoping we've talked about hoping that some tournaments stay online.
Yep.
Handshake's gone.
Do you know what? You are not going to be able to get me to stop wearing a mask in the winter.
I mean,
in Minnesota.
I didn't get a cold this winter.
This winter, I also like got in the practice of I would just put it on before I left my house because it's so cold here.
Yeah.
And you know what? My face has never been so warm in the winter.
It is really nice in the winter.
It's great.
Yeah, I hope that we saw it at Magic events some players wearing masks that are sick. I would love if that continued.
Yes, exactly. Honestly, I would, in general, appreciate, I think, a higher level of mask wearing.
Yeah, staying home if you're sick, I think, is more acceptable now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a big one for me.
And after the game, you don't have to offer the handshake. You can offer the bump or the wave. Peace sign.
Yep, exactly.
I wish there was a way to make the planeswalker symbol with your fingers.
Oh man, how many things does it have?
5.
But it has 5, but the ones on the end are... Why can I not? Isn't your hand already kind of a planeswalker symbol?
So just do this. Boom. Oh wait, no, it goes up.
Exactly.
Why am I going down with it? Planeswalker.
Look, hear me out. Your hand is already kind of a planeswalker symbol.
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do, like,
or like the oath. You're just like oath of whatever planeswalkering.
We'll workshop
I just
this.
look like I'm at a trial swearing to tell the truth.
Do you think if I ever have to do jury duty, they'll let myself swear in on my boggle stack?
I think that aren't you allowed to choose?
I think you are.
I really hope so, Maria. Also, I don't think you as a jury person get sworn in, so you would have to be called to testify.
Juries don't get to swear in. They don't. Well, I suppose
they're not providing testimony.
They're only saying one truth at the end.
And it's not even one truth; it's one opinion. Oh, boom! Anyways,
okay.
The American justice system has flaws. Before we go, Ultra Pro.
Hey, everybody. We've got one of their beautiful Magic deck boxes for Call Time, which has a cool snow logo on it embossed into the deck box. And if you open it up, you can see the Planeswalker symbol, which we've tried to create with our hands this episode.
I'm just saying your hand is naturally a Planeswalker symbol. Think about it.
Embossed on the inside of this deck, which I think Jackbox is really cool. And it's all magnetic. So boom, boom.
It just looks great. It feels great.
It does.
Very cool. Plus, you can also get it with some sick Call Time sleeves.
Yeah, so if this is one of your favorite sets, if you're like, I really love the metal theme, the cool Viking theme, perhaps consider having the snow. We're getting a snowstorm in Minnesota today, so it is top of mind, everybody.
Yes.
But consider getting some Call Time stuff before we move on to the next set, because I think the stuff that Ultra Pro created around it is so beautiful.
Yeah, it's really
pretty
stuff.
And, who doesn't want to remember a snowfall before spring?
I know.
Well, everybody, that's this episode of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. Thank you to everyone for joining us on this year in review.
Yeah.
This little reflection back on just one of the strangest years that has been lived.
Yeah, that is very, very true. And we lived through it.
Yeah, we did.
Wild.
Yeah. So thank you so much to everyone who has helped us get through this wild year by being a patron over at patreon.com/GLHF Magic, as well as to both of our incredible sponsors, again, for helping us get through this wild year, cardkingdom.com/GLHF and Ultra Pro.
Yeah, 100%. Next week, we'll probably get you ready for the Call Time Championship that's coming up, which is standard and historic. And so we'll talk about what are the top decks in those formats if you've been wanting to try them out. If you're just like, oh, I want to tune in and know what's up, we'll get you prepped for that. Some exciting stuff. I love a good tournament. And hopefully the snow that we're getting here will melt within a matter of hours.
It better be gone immediately.
Maybe it's like, I don't want to walk outside and see any snow on the ground.
I better not see it.
All right, Snow, you've been put on notice. Goodbye.